Hi everyone, it's Wild Josh from Geek-Cetera, and in this episode of Star Wars Who's Who, we talk about another intrepid podracer that was introduced to us in Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Now sit back and relax because you're about to learn who's who when it comes to Ody Mandrell. Let's start with the canon backstory. Ody Mandrell is an Urkit podracer that was born and raised on everyone's favorite sandy planet, Tatooine. From a young age, Ody was enthralled with pod racing, and he eventually saved up enough money to buy his own podracer and crew of pit droids. Ody's crew almost instantly began setting records in the pod racing circuit. While Ody was a crowd pleaser, he was known to be overly harsh with his pit droids, which led to some dissension in the ranks. We meet Ody Mandrell during the Boonta Eve Classic on Tatooine. The race started off good for Ody. He hung near the front of the pack, but complications soon arose. During the second lap, Ody opted to take a pit stop. It was during this pit stop that one of Ody's pit droids inadvertently walked too closely to the podracer's active engine and was sucked in through the intake and shot out the other side. Although the pit droid survived the ordeal, the podracer's engine did not. Ody's Boonta Eve win was dashed. Now for the Legends stories. There are a few minor additions to his story through Legends. For example, the droid that went through his intake had a name, and its name was DUM-4. My guess is that this is an ode to the fact that the droid was dumb enough to get sucked into the engine's intake. Also, Ody once crashed in an illegal caves race on the planet Eucerin. Anakin Skywalker eventually won the race, although the smoke from Ody's engine knocked a whole slew of podracers out. There's also a story from after the Battle of Yavin, where Ody was able to help Han and Leia by providing them with a modified podracer/swoop bike. Now for some behind-the-scenes facts. Ody Mandrell was a completely computer-generated character that appeared in Star Wars The Phantom Menace. The two artists credited with bringing him to life are Terrell Whitlatch and Jay Schuster. He was voice-acted by the actor Matthew Wood. Ody Mandrell also received his own Hasbro toy, which came complete with its own pit droid. He also made an appearance in the video game Star Wars Episode 1, Racer. Well, there you go. You now know who's who when it comes to Ody Mandrell. Would you like to know who's who about another character in the Star Wars universe? Or maybe you'd like me to talk about a theory you have. If so, let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to listen to the Geek-Cetera podcast, which you can find on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. All places you can download podcasts. You can also find out more on our website, www.geek-cetera.com, as well as on our Twitter at geek_cetera, or on Facebook at Geek-Cetera Network. Thanks, and may the Force be with you.